Hey guys, it's Danya. Welcome to another episode of Kitchenrule at Home. Today we're making something I love, dumplings. The idea sounds much more intimidating than it actually is. It's actually pretty easy. And to start off, we're going to be making the dough. For the dumpling wrappers, it's just basic flour, water, salt. So if you make shashbarak at home, it's basically the same dough recipe. I'll have all the measurements in the description. So it's flour, water, and just a pinch of salt. I'm gonna go in with a chopstick and mix that up. You're looking for a dry-ish dough. You don't want something too soft. You want something not too, I'll show you what it looks like. So I think this is enough water. If you felt like the dough was way too dry, you can add more. But you're gonna have crumbly bits on the bottom. That's when you're gonna go in with your hand. You can obviously do this with a machine. Just gonna go in with clean hand and sort of squeeze the dough. This is exactly the texture I'm looking for. So something not too soft, but also comes together quite easily. So you don't want it to fall apart and crumble, but you also don't want it to be smooth and soft. So that's about it. You're gonna just knead it for a few more seconds, and then once you have a dough that resembles this, you can come closer and look. It doesn't have to be too pretty. We're just gonna cover it with a damp towel for 15 minutes, just so it's easier to work with. And we'll get back to it in a bit. And it becomes really malleable like this. So it's not supposed to be sticky. As you can see, there's absolutely no flour in this, but I can squish it as much as I want and nothing sticks on my fingers. So you need a scale for this method because I like my dumplings to be all identical, but traditionally they just eyeball it. So they'd roll this out into a long snake and then just start, they just start cutting out portions. But I like to actually cut mine one by one and then make sure they're 10 grams. You're gonna do this with all the dough, and then you're just gonna put them on a tray. And then once that's ready, I'll show you how to roll it out and pleat it. All right, so just for the purpose of time, I don't know how to say it, just because I don't wanna waste time, I only made 5. So these are all little 10 gram portions. Just roll them into a ball, and then you're just gonna flatten them with the palm of your hand. You're just gonna roll it out. You can dip it in flour. There's no fear of over flouring. And essentially you wanna make the edges thinner than the center because you want the center to be supporting the filling. Does that make sense? Because we're gonna be pleating the edges, we don't want it to get too thick. So this is ideally what you're looking for. And it's so much easier if you roll and flip. So roll, flip, roll. It's not really flip, it's more of a turn. And this is what you're looking for. And I highly recommend you guys do this with a partner because doing this alone is really overwhelming. Especially if you're we're making about 100 today, so it's gonna take me forever. But if you had a partner, it'd speed things up. So we're just gonna repeat the same with all of these and then stack them. So if you wanna stack, you need to really liberally flour this, and then you can start stacking because otherwise they'll stick. Okay, so for our dumpling filling, it's really up to you. You can use shrimp, you can use beef, you can just keep it veggie. We're using chicken today, and I like to use thigh and breast. I just grind this in my food processor, so I put it in my food blender and I just whiz it up for 30 seconds. Don't over mix it, otherwise it becomes mousse, a paste. And then we're gonna go in with green onions, some carrots, cabbage that I'm gonna show you how to prep in a sec, garlic, and then the rest of the ingredients are gonna be in the description. We're gonna be salting this, so follow me to the sink basin. Okay, so here's just salt. You don't have to measure, just some salt like so. And then we're gonna go in with our hands and sort of massage the cabbage to release any liquid. And then I'm gonna be rinsing this with water to rinse off the salt. My mom likes to squeeze it a lot. I don't really care, so I just squeeze it a bit and then I add it to my filling. So the way we're going to be adding this to the filling is we're just going to grab a handful because then they're all going to drop into the sink. But you see all that water? That's what we're going to be squeezing out. And then into your filling. And then we're just going to repeat with the rest of the cabbage. So once we have everything in, I'm just going to be adding some aromatics. So this is just garlic. You can actually mince this in once you're grinding your chicken, but I forgot. So I'm just going to be grating this in. So this is just some minced garlic. If you like ginger, you can go in with ginger. I always like switch up my dumpling filling. Sometimes I add zucchini, sometimes I add mushrooms. It's completely up to you. Then we're just going to go in with a bit of cornstarch, a bit of sesame oil. Again, all measurements will be in the description. All measurements
are very accurate.
Go by taste, guys. Some soy, not too much. Some sugar. Some salt, and we need some vegetable oil. I need vegetable. It's over here. So ideally, if this is empty, ideally you'd have like let's say you fried some fried chicken. You'll use that fried chicken oil. That's what my mom does. It makes it taste so much better. I might have actually. Let me check. I do! So we're going to be adding some of this. I swear that was not staged. It looked staged. We're going to add like a big spoon. Oops. Not a big oh shit. I shouldn't have used this. It says water. Water and oil is not a good combo. Alright. What is that like?
Tablespoon.
Tablespoon. Let's do 2 then. Okay. So that's that. This is our beautiful filling. Again, you can customize this. You can add spinach, you can add mushrooms, you can add kale, you can add really whatever you want. Some people even make like cheeseburger dumplings. Some people make, it's really like you can just play around with it, you know? It doesn't have to be traditional all the time. Like my mom would cry if she found out I put carrots in this. She hates carrots. I'm just gonna go in with my hands, guys. It's the only way. So I forgot one ingredient. If you have my cookbook, it says to add like a 1/4 cup of water, but I have really good chicken stock here. Like it's so gelatinous. So I'm just gonna add that in. It looks unappealing. Chicken stock looks unappealing. I get it, but it really makes everything so much better. Give that a mix again, and then we'll be ready to wrap. So once we have our filling properly mixed, we're gonna go ahead and have a taste test. Obviously this is raw chicken, so we can't taste it raw. So I always like to put a little bit in a shallow bowl, and then we're just gonna be microwaving this for about a minute. It'll be perfectly cooked. You get to try it, taste, adjust any seasoning. So we're just gonna put this in for 1 minute. And yeah, we'll get back to you. All right, 5 more seconds. You can hear it like sizzling. Okay, it's really good. It's very juicy, but it needs more salt. I'm gonna add a bit of soy. I'm gonna finish chewing.
The salt queen.
Look, huh?
Let's keep adding to it. It's too salty.
Just like a sprinkle here. And just a drop here.
Don't you dip it in soy anyways?
That's it. Alright, just gonna mix this up. And then we can start filling. So these are our beautiful wrappers. I've made a bunch. So there's like 3 stages to the wrappers. There's the dough, then you portion them. I like to do 10 grams, and then you roll them out into wrappers. So again, this would be great if you had a partner. So to wrap our dumplings, we're just gonna add like 1/2 tablespoon of filling into the center. If you haven't done this before, I would suggest adding a bit less so it's easier, because like it takes a while to get the pleats right. And then we're just gonna do that and then press to seal. So that's 1 dumpling. It's like nice and plump and juicy. And if you're not really confident with pleating them like this, you can.
Done it. I'm sure they can.
It takes practice, but I mean, honestly, that's just aesthetics. You can easily just close it in half like a sambusik. Like you can even use a fork to crimp it. So like you can actually just basically do this, and then that would be a dumpling. Like it's completely fine. Or you can put it on the counter and like squeeze it like that.
I do the shishbarak way.
You do it like you like the fold.
Yeah, that's cool.
These are considered wontons or tortellinis more than a dumpling, but you can do this. When we had a dumpling truck, Basil and I, so we do like the chicken would be this, the beef would be a different shapes.
The beef was this.
The beef was this, and I think the veggie was
chicken, beef.
and I think
the veggie was the basic way.
The one with no pleats, right? So I'm gonna go back to the basic way. I don't know if this is gonna make sense to people, but you see how this way, if you fold it this way, it's gonna be like long. I don't want a long dumpling. I want a plump, fat one. So I actually fold the opposite way. All right, that's one pleat. You're just literally gonna push this in like that. That's a second pleat.
That was the veggie.
All right.
That was it.
So one pleat, and then you want like a curve here. And that's our gorgeous looking dumpling. Oopsie, sorry chicken. Wait, turn on the light. So I have a pan here. Highly recommend you use a non-stick pan because it will stick if it's not non-stick. I have about a tablespoon of vegetable oil. It's pretty hot. I'm gonna be laying my dumplings down nicely. So I'm gonna do like a circle. It's okay if they touch, but I don't have much today anyways. Like if I was making a bunch, you can stack them like that. But since we only have like 7 today, I'm gonna give them their space. So you're gonna let it sizzle for a minute, and then literally like not even a minute, like a few seconds, and then we're gonna go in with about a teaspoon of vinegar. You can use any vinegar, you can use apple cider, you can use anything that's like whitish. You don't like a black vinegar. And now we're gonna go in with some water. You want enough to like reach the dumplings halfway. And then we're gonna be covering this, lowering the heat to a medium and letting this simmer for about maybe 10 minutes because they're not frozen. But if you freeze these, you cook them frozen and you'll steam fry this for about 15 to 20. So while our dumplings are, this is called steam fry. So while they're steam frying, we're gonna prepare our sauce. So in a bowl here, I have about a teaspoon of white sugar. And then we're gonna go in with the stems of coriander. So just finely chop this, what is this, like half a teaspoon of coriander stems. And then we're gonna go in with some green onion, right? That goes in. And then we're gonna go in with some soy. Okay. And the most important part about dumpling sauce is the black vinegar and, to me, the chili. So I'm gonna go to my freezer. Ideally, you use frozen just because it grates better, but if you don't have frozen, you can use fresh, just finely chop it. This is washed red chili that I freeze. The higher you go, the spicier it is. The lower you go, the less spicy, because there's more seeds towards the top of the stem. So I like it to be spicy. So I'm just gonna grate this in. Okay, and now we just need to go in with some black vinegar, which is like quintessential for dumplings. If you don't have Chinese black vinegar, use balsamic. It's really just as good. Oh my god, it's empty. Yeah, that's sad. I feel like we should open like an Asian grocery store here. All right, we're gonna taste this. Ooh, spicy. Really spicy. Okay, and just for looks, I like to use like the leaves, just sort of tear it up. Put that in there. Oh yeah, I forgot about my sesame seeds. These should be toasted. These are not toasted. You should use toasted. All right, and that's our dipping sauce. Okay, so our dumplings, if you zoom in, you'll see that all the water has evaporated and like they've puffed up. So we're gonna continue cooking them until the bottoms are nice and golden and crispy. I'm looking for my spatula. Okay. Should I use this? No. Okay. So, Bismillah. Inshallah, it didn't stick. Okay, now we're looking good. I always like to check one to see if the color is right. This is too blonde for me. I prefer a darker skin tone on my dumplings. So we're just gonna leave this for a few seconds. Don't walk away. It will burn if you walk away. Kind of like release it from the edges. So like you can see that they're moving, which is a really good sign. And we're almost done. If you were to boil these, you'd boil them like you would pasta. You just put them in water, and once they float, give them like a few minutes, like 2 or 3 minutes, and you're ready to eat. And you can just toss them directly into the sauce if they were boiled. Or you can steam them like you would frozen dumplings. All right, let me check. See, so Basil is not a fan of
burnt.
It's not. Isn't this too blonde? Look at it.
Sure, a bit
How
more.
unappealing does that look?
You want it black.
No, I want it like
That's
all
good.
like this.
That's enough for me.
Let's see if it. Oh, this is a really good sign. Like when they all move. All right, let's count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just like one more second. Okay, khalas, they're good. Let's serve these. You serve these upside down. So like that. Let's just use my hands. See, this is what I like. I like this golden. You know what annoys me? When you go to a restaurant and this is the portion. Ah, these are really hot. Okay, hold on. Let's try one of these things. It's like piping hot. I'm gonna burst it. Look how juicy. Come. You see? But look at that. Look at that. This is delicious. Like, the sauce is extremely spicy. My hair is everywhere. Delicious. Alright guys, thank you for watching my dumpling video. I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.